Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tilly and today I'm going to be filming my YALC TBR. I can't believe it's that time of year again. YALC is one of my favourite times of year and the lineup this year looks absolutely amazing. I'm super excited to share with you my most anticipated authors that are going to be attending YALC this year, as well as the TBR that I've set myself to prepare. So grab yourself a cup of tea, get cozy, because this video is probably going to be a long one. So to start things off, I thought I could explain what YALC is if you've never heard of it, not sure what it is. So YALC stands for the Young Adult Literature Convention. So it's a fun annual convention type event that's run every year where fans of YA or books in general come together. So it was started by author Mallory Blackman back in 2014 and it happens alongside London Comic Con. So I was new to YALC last year. It was my first time, although I had watched lots of vlogs from the previous years. So last year YALC was the top of the convention centre and there were lots of publisher stalls selling books at a discounted price, as well as they had lots of fun games like spinning wheels, lucky dips, that kind of thing, where you could win books, proofs, or bookmarks or other little knickknacks and merch. So it was such a good time. And then they've also got another section where they have authors who will be signing events, as well as another section where authors will do talks. So I thought I could talk you through all of the authors that I'm really excited about hopefully meeting and having them sign my books. There's no way I could fit all of the wonderful authors that are attending YALC this year into one video, so make sure you check out the YALC Instagram so that you can have a look at what other authors are attending. So starting with Saturday, and I was so excited when I saw that Jennifer Lynn Barnes is attending. If you didn't know, Jennifer Lynn Barnes has written one of my favourite series, which is the Inheritance Game series. I've read the first 4 books and they were quite recent reads. I only read them this year, but I absolutely loved them. I'd say that the first trilogy is definitely my favourite, but I just absolutely love them and I'm so excited that she's going to be attending YALC and I get to meet her and I get her to sign my pretty Fairy Loot editions. So if you're not aware, the Inheritance Games series are YA mystery thriller novels. I'm also really excited because Alice Oseman is going to be attending again. So Alice Oseman I think attended a couple of years ago and I was completely gutted to have missed them, although I have heard the stories that their line was unbelievably long. So I really hope that I get to meet them this year, but we will have to see. So if you're not aware, for whatever reason, Alice Oseman is the writer of the Heartstopper series, as well as the other books that are set within the same universe. These are YA contemporary novels with absolutely fantastic illustrations that I believe Alice does themselves. We also have Krystal Sutherland, who is the author that wrote The Invocations, which, if you didn't know, was another one of my 5-star reads this year. I desperately want to read the other books that Krystal Sutherland has written, but I'm also very excited to meet them at YALC, maybe go to one of their talks to find out more about the inspiration behind their books. Then we have Holly Jackson, who also attended YALC last year. Last year she was extremely popular and there were very long lines for Holly Jackson. Bless her, she stayed behind late so that she could get to as many people as possible, and when I met her she was absolutely hilarious and I would say that she's a really fun author to meet. I would like to meet her again this year. As I said, she's really funny and there are a couple of other books I would like her to sign, primarily the new Rachel Price book. However, I might see what her line is like this year because I don't want to take that opportunity away from someone else if I've already met her. We then have Lindsey Kelk, who is a popular romance author. I have to admit I haven't read anything by Lindsey Kelk yet, but I've heard such good things about her books and I desperately want to get to a couple of her books before YALC, so I'll be talking about those in my TBR. We then have Juno Dawson, which is another author that I met last year who was really cool to meet and really fun, and they are the author of the Her Majesty's Royal Coven series, which again I've not read yet but I've heard fantastic things. We then have Catherine Doyle and Catherine Webber, who are the co-authors of Twin Crowns. Again, they were there last year but they were so lovely to meet and I would like to meet them again and possibly get Burning Crown signed. Then we have Amy McCall, who I met at Comic-Con, so I've already met her, but she was just, again, so lovely to meet. She is a YA horror writer that wrote the Mina and the Undead series, and I recently got her new book, Mina and the Cult, so I would like to get that signed if possible. Then we have Holly Bourne, who writes YA contemporary literary fiction books. Her books seem to have a fantastic representation, either mental health or feminism, so I really, really do want to read her books, especially after hearing such fantastic things. So lastly for the Saturday, we've got Kat McKenna. So this is a debut author that wrote a book called Look What You Made Me Do, which, as you can imagine, as you guys know, I'm a massive Swiftie, and this is a book all about Taylor Swift and the Swiftie fandom. So I'm really interested in that book and what she's got to say. So then moving on to Sunday, another of the authors that I'm probably the most excited to meet is Neal Shusterman. So if you're not aware, Neal Shusterman wrote the Arc of a Scythe series. I read this series and really enjoyed it. I gave the first book 5 stars. It did get slightly worse as it went along, unfortunately, but I do think it's a fantastic series and I do love the idea behind it. I know Neal Shusterman attended YALC at a previous year and I was gutted that I didn't get to meet him, so I'm really excited that he's attending this year. We then have Karen M. McManus, who is a YA mystery thriller writer that wrote the One of Us is Lying series. I've only read the first book, but I did really enjoy it, so I'm really excited to meet her and get that signed. We then have Molly X Chang, who is a debut author. They wrote To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, which, if you didn't know, I read quite recently and I thought it was really well done, so I'm excited to meet Molly and get that one signed. Then we have Adiba Jagir, who is the author of The Henna Wars and The Do's and Donuts of Love, and I met them last year and again they were really lovely, so I'm excited that they're back this year as well. We then have B. Fitzgerald, who was there last year but I didn't get a chance to meet them. They are the author of Girl Goddess Queen, which I've not read yet, but I have picked it up and would quite like to read it, so it would be nice to meet them as well. Then we have Elle McNichol, who wrote A Kind of Spark and the spin-off which is called Keeley. I haven't read them yet, but I've heard absolutely fantastic things, so I would like to read them and then meet them at YALC. And then lastly we have Jennifer Delaney, who is a debut author who wrote Tales of a Monstrous Heart, and it just sounds fantastic, so that might be on my TBR list as well. Talking of my TBR list, the first book that is on my TBR list is The Grandest Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So this is the next book in the Inheritance Games series, which is released on the 30th of July, so I'm really hoping I can get to it before YALC. I do own the beautiful Fairy Loot editions of the other 4 books, so I'm really hoping that Fairy Loot do a matching edition and that I can get my hands on it before YALC. Because it is the next in the series, I obviously can't tell you the synopsis, but what I thought I would do is give you the synopsis for book 1. If I keep looking down, by the way, it's because I've written some notes on my phone. Avery Grams had a simple plan for her future: survive high school, earn a scholarship and escape her circumstances. But everything changes when billionaire Tobias Hawthorne unexpectedly leaves her his vast fortune. The condition: Avery must move into the Hawthorne house, a mansion filled with secrets, puzzled and the disgruntled Hawthorne family members, whom Tobias disinherited. Among them are the 4 Hawthorne grandsons, each with their own suspicions about Avery's sudden inheritance. Grayson Hawthorne is determined to expose her as a fraud, while Jameson sees her as a final enigma left by their grandfather. As Avery navigates the complexities of wealth and privilege, she must unravel the mysteries of Hawthorne House to secure her place in this treacherous new world. As I said, I cannot recommend it enough. It's probably one of my favourite books that I've read this year. It is absolutely fantastic. I gave it 5 stars, so would highly recommend you picking it up if you haven't already. I have tried to narrow it down to 1 book per author, by the way, where possible, just because I thought otherwise this video was just going to be miles too long. So the next book on my TBR list is Solitaire by Alice Oseman. So this is set within the Heartstopper universe and follows Charlie's sister Tori. Tori Spring sets the record straight from the start. This is not a love story. She's a blogger who values sleep over socialising, navigating the challenges of A-levels and university applications while reflecting on a past when she had friends. Now her world revolves around Solitaire, a mysterious group and Michael Holden, whom she claims not to care about. I do think this one sounds really good. I love Alice Oseman's writing style, so I'm really excited to be picking this one up. We then have House of Hollow by Krystal Sutherland, which I don't own, so I will leave on screen now for you. So this follows 17-year-old Iris Hollow, who has always felt like an outsider, haunted by a mysterious event from her childhood that left her and her sisters with unexplained half-moon scars. When her elder sister Grey disappears under suspicious circumstances, Iris's world spirals into chaos. Strange occurrences escalate, sinister figures stalk her, a body emerges from Grey's ceiling, and unsettling memories resurface. Determined to unravel Grey's disappearance, Iris delves into her sister's last steps and uncovers a trail of cryptic clues. As she digs deeper, Iris realises the key to finding Grey lies in confronting the dark truth of their shared past. Along the way, Iris discovers that Grey harbours a devastating secret that could change everything she thought she knew about her family. In this gripping tale of suspense and mystery, Iris must navigate through shadows of the past to uncover the chilling reality that threatens not only her sister's life, but her own. I do think it sounds absolutely fantastic, and I loved the creepy gothic vibes that we had in The Invocations, and I've heard that that really carries over into House of Hollow, so I'm really excited to give that a read. The next book is the only Holly Jackson book so far that I haven't read, which is 5 Survive. So this is a YA mystery thriller standalone, so it's not set within the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. So 18-year-old Red and her friends embark on a road trip in an RV, excited for spring break at the beach. Their journey takes a dark turn when the RV breaks down in a remote area with no phone reception. As the wheels are shot out, the group realises they are being targeted by a sniper who knows them. One of them harbours a secret, worth killing for. Trapped and desperate, they must uncover the target and seek help. All while buried secrets emerge and tensions rise to deadly levels. Not everyone will survive the night. Oh, I think this sounds so good. I expect lots of twists and turns from Holly Jackson, so I'm so excited to give this one a read. Then we have another one that I don't own just yet, and that is I Heart New York by Lindsey Kelk. So if you didn't know, this is Lindsey Kelk's debut, I believe. So I Heart New York follows Angela, who escapes a wedding disaster with a crumpled bridesmaid dress and heads to New York City for the first time. Guided by her new friend Jenny Lopez, Angela undergoes a transformative journey with a New York makeover and a newfound confidence. As she explores the city that never sleeps, Angela dives into dating adventures and documents them in her new vlog. Amidst the excitement, Angela navigates her romantic dilemmas, discovers that writing about love is easier than figuring it out herself. I've heard such good things about this series, and I believe it's such a nostalgia trip. I'm hoping I will still enjoy it, as I didn't read it back in the day, but it just sounds amazing, and I believe each book follows a different location. So for example, we've got I Heart Hawaii, so I'm really excited to give the series a read. So I have to admit, I couldn't narrow it down to one book for Lindsey Kelk, as the other book I have on my list is Love Me Do by Lindsey Kelk, which I already own on my Kindle. Phoebe Chapman, a lovelorn Brit, finds herself in her sister's Hollywood Hills home, where she meets Belle, her sister's enthusiastic personal trainer, and Ren, the charming and sensitive carpenter next door. Belle harbours a crush on Ren, who remains oblivious to her feelings. Determined to unite them, Phoebe volunteers as their matchmaker. Amidst orchestrating romantic gestures and forming an unexpected bond with the reclusive 82-year-old film star, Phoebe discovers a newfound affection for Los Angeles. As she immerses herself in writing love letters and exploring the city, Phoebe begins to question whether her newfound love is for the city alone or if romance is also in the air for herself. I do think it sounds really cute, like the perfect summer romance, so I'm excited to give that a read as well. Then we have a book that I've been meaning to read for the longest time, and that is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. This should be no surprise to anyone that I desperately need to read this. So the synopsis for this one: in a world where witches have played pivotal roles throughout history, 4 adolescent girls, Helena, Leonie, Neve and Elle, pledge themselves to Her Majesty's Royal Coven, a clandestine organisation dating back to Queen Elizabeth I. Decades later, Helena, now the High Priestess, navigates a fractured witch community still recovering from civil war. While Helena remains entrenched in bureaucratic duties, Elle attempts to live a normal life. Neve uses her powers as a vet, and Leonie breaks away to found Diaspora, a more inclusive coven. When a powerful young warlock threatens HMRC's existence, Helena and her friends face a profound dilemma: uphold tradition or pursue what they believe is right. As conflicting loyalties strain their bond, they must navigate deep-seated beliefs and personal histories to determine the fate of their community and the future of magic itself. I just think it sounds amazing, and I've heard such good things that I just desperately need to get to it before hopefully meeting Juno Dawson again. Another one I've been meaning to get to for such a long time is Twin Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Webber. So the synopsis for this one: Wren Greenrock has spent her life training to reclaim her rightful place in the palace, determined to usurp the survivor of her parents' murder and protect her community of witches. However, her focus is challenged by a distracting palace guard and her own reckless magic. Princess Rose Valhart faces an arranged marriage to a brutal kingdom, but her destiny takes a turn when she wakes up in the desert with a charming kidnapper. As she explores life beyond the palace, she discovers a world of beauty, and the witches she once feared might offer the family she never knew she needed. Separated at birth, Wren and Rose must navigate each other's lives as they vie for their birthright and face the threat of Willem Rathborn, the sinister King's Breath. With coronation looming, the sisters must confront their destinies and determine who will ultimately claim the crown. I've always thought that this sounds absolutely fantastic, and again, I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I'm really, really excited to hopefully get to this soon. Again, another one that's been on my TBR for quite a while, and that is Mina and the Undead by Amy McCaw. So this one is set in the summer of 1995, where 17-year-old Mina travels from England to New Orleans to find her estranged sister Libby. Fascinated by horror movies and the eerie atmosphere of her hometown Whitby, which inspired Dracula. I've actually been to Whitby and I've seen the remains of where Dracula is meant to be based on. Sorry, bit of a side note. Mina eagerly dives into New Orleans' dark secrets. She explores vampire tours, seedy bars, spooky cemeteries and local myths. Mina's excitement peaks when she lands a part-time job at a horror movie mansion and meets Jared, Libby's handsome housemate and fellow horror enthusiast. However, her idyllic summer takes a dark turn when she discovers the body of a girl at the mansion, marked with puncture wounds on her neck and holding a lock of hair resembling Libby's. As brutal supernatural killings reminiscent of local legends unfold, Mina must unravel the mystery to prove her sister's innocence before she herself becomes the next victim of these deadly myths haunting New Orleans. I do think this sounds absolutely fantastic. I'm loving the 90s vibes. I'm really interested in a vampire story as well as all of the old school horror nods. I have to admit it was really hard narrowing it down to just one Hollyborn book. The one that I've decided to put on my TBR is You Could Be So Pretty. So this delves into a dystopian society which is governed by the Doctrine, which enforces strict beauty standards and divisions amongst its people. Belle Gentle excels within these confines as the highest ranked pretty, adhering faithfully to the Doctrine's rules and expectations. Yet despite her apparent success, Belle feels trapped and suffocated by her perfect life. On the other hand, Joni Miller is labelled as objectionable, due to her unconventional appearance, and is despised by many. Joni's defiance against the Doctrine fuels her determination to win a scholarship to the education, where she plans to challenge and dismantle the oppressive system that dictates societal norms. As Belle and Joni clash, their paths converge in unexpected ways, forcing them to confront their prejudices and question the truths they've been taught. I do love a dystopian. I don't read them often, but I think that one sounds absolutely fantastic. Then, as mentioned, I've put Look What You Made Me Do by Kat McKenna, which is a non-fiction book that looks at fan culture and particularly Swifties. It explores the evolution of fandoms from their origins to the present day, highlighting the various eras of Taylor Swift's career. The narrative examines the impact of celebrity politics and cancel culture on fan interactions, emphasising the unique bonds and experiences that define being a fan. Featuring interviews with prominent Taylor Swift fans, celebrity culture icon Ju Moy, and the founder of Swiftageddon, this book serves as a comprehensive guide to understanding and celebrating fandom. So I'm really excited to give that one a go, and it's the only non-fiction book that is on this list. Then I'm hoping to finish out a series, and that is Gleanings by Neal Shusterman. This is the only book in the Arc of Scythe series that I haven't read, as this is book 3.5. It's a collection of short stories that is set after the series. So I can't tell you the synopsis of that book. As I said, it's set after the events of the series, so it would give you lots of spoilers. However, the synopsis for the first book, which is Scythe, in a utopian future where humanity has eradicated hunger, disease and war, and even conquered death itself, society is governed by a group of individuals known as scythes. These scythes are tasked with maintaining population control by selectively ending lives. Citra and Rowan, two reluctant teenagers, are reluctantly chosen to apprentice under a scythe. They must learn the act of taking life, a responsibility they never saw, knowing that failure in their grim duty could result in dire consequences, including their own mortality. As they navigate their new roles, Citra and Rowan grapple with ethical dilemmas and the weight of their newfound power in a world where death has become a deliberate and regulated act. It's such an interesting concept, and I would highly, highly recommend that you give it a go. Then we have another continuation of a series, and that is One of Us Is Next by Karen M. McManus, which is the sequel to One of Us Is Lying. So again, I can't tell you the synopsis of this one without giving you spoilers, but I will give you the synopsis of the first book, which is One of Us Is Lying. Hi guys, sorry if the lighting or angle has slightly changed. My camera decided to die on me. I believe I was talking about One of Us Was Next, and I was giving you the synopsis for One of Us Is Lying. 5 students at Bayview High find themselves in detention, each embodying a different high school stereotype. Bronwyn the brain, Addie the beauty, Nate the criminal, Cooper the athlete, and Simon the outcast who runs a gossip app. However, Simon never leaves detention alive. He dies under suspicious circumstances. Investigators rule his death a murder, especially since Simon planned to expose secrets of his classmates the next day. Now all 4 remaining students are suspects in his murder, each with their own secrets to protect. As the investigation unfolds, the question arises, are they hiding the truth or merely pawns in someone else's deadly game of secrets and betrayal? I can remember really enjoying One of Us Is Lying, although reading that back, I can't actually remember who killed Simon. I'm sure if I looked up a synopsis, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's all coming back to me. But it does feel like a little bit of a lifetime ago that I did read that first book, so maybe I need to give myself a little bit of a refresher before I go on to One of Us Is Next. Speaking of next, our next book on the TBR is Hani and Issue's Guide to Fake Dating by Abida Jagidar. So as I said, I've been meaning to read these books for ages, and again it was really hard to narrow it down to just one book by that particular author. However, I have decided to pick this one as it's got fake dating and it's one of my favourite tropes. Hani Khan faces backlash from her friends after coming out as bisexual, who invalidate her identity due to her previous relationships with guys. In a moment of panic, Hani claims to be in a relationship with Ishu, a girl disliked by her friends. Ishu, focused on her academic goals and ambitions to become head girl, agrees to the arrangement if Hani helps boost her popularity. As they navigate their fake relationship, Hani and Ishu unexpectedly develop genuine feelings for each other. However, their budding romance faces challenges and complexities, including opposition from those who seek to undermine their happiness as Bengali girls. Amidst the pressures of high school and societal expectations, Hani and Ishu must confront obstacles to find their own path to happiness and acceptance. I do think this sounds really good. As I said, I love the fake dating trope. I also love the fact that this has got LGBT representation, and it just sounds really, really great. Then we have Girl, Goddess, Queen by B. Fitzgerald. This is the beautiful Waterstones paperback edition, which I think is absolutely beautiful. Thousands of years ago, the gods told a lie. How Persephone was a pawn in the politics of other gods. How Hades kidnapped Persephone to be his bride. How her mother Demeter was so distraught she caused the earth to start dying. The real story is much more interesting. Persephone wasn't taken to hell. She jumped. There was no way she was going to be married off to some smug god more in love with himself than her. Now all she has to do is convince the underworld's annoyingly sexy, arrogant and frankly rude ruler, Hades, to fall in love with her plan. A plan that will shake Mount Olympus to its very core. But consequences can be deadly, especially when you're already in hell. I do think this sounds really good. I didn't actually realise that it was a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I do love Greek mythology, so I'm really intrigued to read this and find out what B. Fitzgerald does with that particular story. Next on the list is another one that I don't own physically, and that is A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol. Ever since Mrs. Murphy told us about the witch trials that happened centuries ago right here in Juniper, I can't stop thinking about them. Those people weren't magic. They were like me, different like me. I'm autistic. I see things that others do not. I hear sounds that they can ignore. And sometimes I feel things all at once. I think about the witches with no one to speak for them. Not everyone in our small town understands, but if I keep trying, maybe someone will. I won't let the witches be forgotten, because there is more to their story, just like there is more to mine. I do think this one sounds absolutely fantastic. It's great to see some neurodivergent representation, so I'm really intrigued to give this one a read. And then lastly on the TBR, I have got Tales of a Monstrous Heart by Jennifer Delaney. Catherine Woodrow, a Fae student, faces prejudice from the mortal council that threatens her future at the Institute of Magic. To secure her place, she reluctantly enters into a mage partnership with Emery's Blackthorn, a mysterious and cursed war hero known for his enigmatic nature and stormy demeanour. As Kat and Emery's navigate their uneasy alliance, they find themselves drawn closer despite the forbidden nature of their connection. However, their partnership is soon tested by a series of murders and disappearances among the Fae, signalling the resurgence of dark magic. Together they uncover ancient books hiding monstrous secrets, confront dark fiends manipulating nightmares, and face mortal enemies intent on their destruction. Amidst the unfolding chaos, Kat and Emery's are haunted by their own secrets, deeper and darker than anything they've encountered before. As shadows loom and ancient tales unravel, they must confront truths that threaten to consume them both, knowing that some secrets are so monstrous they defy even the darkest imaginations. Again, I think that sounds fantastic. I'm so intrigued to give that a read. If I'm honest, I think it will be quite the challenge trying to get to all of these before YALCs, so I'm going to give it my best effort. Are there any out of this list that you think I should prioritise? Please let me know down in the comments. Are you attending YALC this year? Again, I'd love to know down in the comments. Do you have any tips and tricks? If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.